That's Tony Hancock in. Hancock's half hour.
Do you believe a man's home is his castle, Sid?
The castle? Is that the name of a pub, Hancock? Now you come to mention it, I used to spend a lot of time down the Elephant and Castle. That was home from home.
Does your whole life revolve around drink, Sid? Isn't there a tiny teetotaler inside you who wants to have a quiet night in every now and again?
Nah, we're both drinkers, and he can drink me under the table.
I'll try again. Let me run this one past you. Do you think a man is entitled to live where he wants to, regardless of how squalid, dirty and pest-infected it is?
I'm living here, ain't I?
You take that back, Sidney James. You live here rent-free, and that wasn't a rat. It was next door's cat Tiddles that got in through the French windows.
All right, maybe it was Tiddles, and the cockroaches have gone, haven't they? But I don't live here rent-free. I pay $100 a month rent.
Oh yes, when was the last time you paid that, Sidney James? Which monarch was on the throne?
You're one of those rogue landlords, aren't you? Let's have a look in me rent book. Do you know where my rent book is, Hancock?
You haven't got a rent book, Sid, because you've never paid rent. The possession and ownership of a rent book reflects the owner's desire and willingness to pay rent. Hence, you haven't got one.
Well, you must have stolen it.
Must have stolen it? Why on earth would I steal your rent book?
To stop me paying rent, of course.
Why on earth would I want to stop you paying rent? I gave you a room precisely so you could pay some.
Then it was daft of you to steal it, then. That's the reason you're not getting any rent, Hancock.
All right. I'll tell you what I do with it. I take your empty rent book around schools when I give talks on crime as an example of mass inhumanity to man. However, we have a rather sad case to deal with today. We are about to interview a man who, like you, also doesn't possess a rent book.
Yeah, but he's got a rotten landlord as well. I can give him some sound advice, Hancock. I'll advise him to sue.
And you can keep your advice to yourself, Sid. No, this poor wretch has no landlord. It's because he has hit rock bottom. The one underneath the rock where you live, Sid. And this fella lives in a skip.
A skip? You can't live in a skip. It's against the law. Nobody has ever lived in a skip. Where is this skip?
It's the one outside our flaming front door, Sid. You know the skip the builders left outside number 23 railway cuttings when they were doing up number 21. You can hardly miss it. You've been staring at it for 2 months.
Oh yeah, that one. I've been chucking me faggins and empties in it. I've not seen anybody go in it though. What's the geezer's name?
The geezer, as you put it, goes by the name of Mr. Boot.
Well, tell Mr. Boot to show us a clean pair of heels, will you? And move, because he's lowering the tone of the neighbourhood.
Sid James starting to worry about the tone of the neighbourhood. However, people are starting to ask questions. I'm getting a lot of sideways looks that suggest they think Mr. Boot is another one of my wayward lodgers.
We'd better call the police, Hancock.
The police have handed this case to us, Sid. The police and council won't get rid of him. They say that would amount to an eviction. They'd be the bad guys in the papers.
I know, Hancock. Why don't you try and give Mr. Boot a rent book? That would be the best way of getting rid of him.
Good evening. Nice place. Oh, it's so luxurious. Oh, look, you've got a roof. I couldn't use your shower, could I? I brought my own shampoo.
Certainly not, matey. You'd have to wash first before you got an air shower. Look at the state of you.
Oh, go on. I've got some important people to meet. I want to convince them that my home really is fit for human habitation. They must be right Charlies, though. If they believe that, they'll believe anything.
Do you mind, Mr. Boot? That's us you're talking about.
Go on, fancy that. Isn't that a coincidence? So you're Hancock Heroes, are you? I know I pong a bit, but it's all right, providing you don't breathe in.
We're Hancock's heroes. Who did you think we were?
Sort of people who would let someone park a skip outside and live in it.
So, it's your skip. We thought it was the builders working on number 21, and we are not letting you live in it.
Oh, I bought it off the builders, but I had to get a mortgage. They wanted £100, would you believe? It's very sturdy. They don't make them like that anymore.
100? You've been done, mate. You could rent a nice little flat for that for a week. In fact, I've got one you can have right now. Get your coat, Sid.
Oh, would you? Oh, you are kind. It can get a bit cold in the skip at night, although I'm thinking of installing central heating. I set fire to bits of that old fence to keep warm at the moment.
What, the rustic fence with oak boards?
Yes, that's right.
That's my flaming fence. No, you're not moving in, Mr. Boot. You can forget that.
It doesn't matter. I always wanted my own home. It makes me proud to be on the property ladder.
Is that the ladder I saw sticking out in the back of the skip?
Yes, that's the one.
Well, come on, mate. It's not a home. It hasn't got a roof or electricity.
Don't worry, I'm building a roof. I'm waiting till August and then I'll thatch it. I'm learning to thatch. I'm on a course at the local technical college.
Yeah, but what about electricity? Light and heat and all that? How on earth do you shave in the morning?
I used to look through the window of your bathroom.
How dare you?
Yes, grooming is very important. So now I bought a cable. It goes through the fence, then into the side of that house over there.
Does number 21 know?
I hope not. It's nothing to do with him. It's number 23. You don't mind, do you? I only use a little bit. It's 1,000 kilowatts and counting.
You've used 1,000 kilowatts of my electricity? Well, that's a criminal offence, Mr. Boot. I'm going to have to refer this to a higher authority.
What, God? No, someone said I could do it. I've got permission of the landowner.
Who told you you could do it? There's only Sid and me live here.
I'll name no names. I don't want to cause any trouble.
Well, I know for one it wasn't me. Could it be Sid? No, Sid's not that stupid, are you?
Of course I'm not, Hancock, but I might have said something in passing to Mr. Boot that he misunderstood.
Said what? Like, is it all right, mate, if I steal some of Mr. Hancock's electricity while I'm about it? He won't mind, will he? Yes, go ahead. Feel free.
Nah, of course I wouldn't have said that. What I said was, I'll plug that cable in for you. We don't want anybody tripping up on it, do we? Health and safety, wouldn't it, Hancock?
We don't want anyone tripping up on it, do we? So that's why my electricity bill has gone up 300% in the last 2 months. Since when has health and safety involving aiding and abetting a theft?
You haven't got gas as well, have you? I'm lucky to go dual energy. It's cheaper.
What do you mean cheaper? You're not paying anything for it anyway. You're stealing it. No, we have not got gas. The North Sea ran out at Epsom, so we were told. Anyway, I want my electricity back. What are you doing with it all?
I've got an arc welder.
An arc welder? What do you want with that? You're not a bank robber, are you?
Don't be silly. I stopped doing that years ago. I'm connecting the skip to the main sewer. I've got my own toilet. I can't wait to use it. And I've got a little car repair business outside if you want something welding.
Something welding? Yes, a lid on your skip, preferably with you inside it.
Hang on a minute, Mr. Boot. It's just occurred to me that you haven't got a levy up and running at the moment. So where have you been going toilet the last couple of months?
Ooh, you are checking up on me. Round the back, of course.
Round the back of the skip, you mean?
What, with everyone watching? No, round the back of your house. I'm quite tidy. I bury it.
What do you mean you bury it? Bury it where?
Well, you know, here and there. Mainly your vegetable patch. Anywhere the mood takes me.
What? You mean you've been doing your unmentionables on my vegetables? Aha! Stop right there, Mr. Boot. I want you out of railway cuttings this minute. I will not have my carrots interfered with.
Oh no, stop messing about. You can't stop me living outside. It's a free country and all that.
Why not?
Well, the council have just slapped a preservation order on my skip.
What, that bunch of fuddy-duddies? They must be going round the flaming twist.
You don't know much about architecture, do you? It's an exciting, modernist, working-class new build.
No, it isn't. It's a skip.
Not according to TV's Grand Designs. They're coming down as well. They are very interested. They're going to do a whole series on it. Do you want to be in it?
No, I do not. I'll contact the BBC for that matter. I'll refuse to pay my licence fee.
It doesn't matter. Grand Designs are on Channel 4. And Garden Rescue are coming down to improve my garden.
What garden? You haven't got a garden.
Yes, I have. I've borrowed a bit of yours. You don't mind, do you? Just a corner of the lawn and a few flower beds. You won't miss them.
This can't be happening. In my day, a skip was a skip. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill your skip with rubbish. Sid, have you got any rubbish you want to throw away?
I've got a couple of pianos if you want them.
I didn't know you had some pianos, Sid.
I haven't, but I'll find some.
Stop! I'll call the police. You can't fill my home with rubbish. You leave my nice new home alone.
What's that you're reading, Hancock?
It's a letter from Eastcheap Council, Sid, thanking us for getting rid of Mr. Boot and his skip, and a cheque with our fee of £500.
Well, that's a good job well done. We won, and no more Mr. Boot and his stupid, modernist, new-build skip.
Unfortunately, it's not quite as simple as that, Sid. The letter goes on that we've been fined £1,000 for unlawfully throwing rubbish in Mr. Boot's home, and will be removed the 2 pianos from the road outside, or we face a further fine of £2,000.